Hardcore Pond is the topic of discussion today, the reality television show that premieres on TruTV about the day-to-day operations of American Jewelry and Loan, a family-owned and operated pawn shop in 8 Mile in Detroit, Michigan. You know, the same 8 Mile that was in the Eminem movie. But what you probably didn't know is that Hardcore Pond is a reality television series, and it was produced by Richard Dominic Productions and RDF USA. American Jewelry and Loan is owned by Les Gold, who has a son and a daughter, Seth and Ashley, but Les is a third-generation pawnbroker and businessman. Les first opened American Jewelry at the Green 8 Shopping Center on 8 Mile Road in Oak Park way back in 1978, but moved it to its current location in 1993. Now, Hardcore Pond stopped after season 9 because TruTV wanted to take a comedy route, and Hardcore Pond did not fit the way that the program wanted to shift, and so TruTV decided not to keep going with Hardcore Pond, and they stopped production in 2014. But today, we'll be discussing some insane Hardcore Pond deals. But before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like as it helps the channel out tremendously, and subscribe to the channel. So a man pulls up to American Jewelry and Loan, offering Les Gold a 1976 safety-wide Bricklink. The pawn shop owner first confused it with the more popular DeLorean that was made famous by the 1985 movie Back to the Future. Now, the Bricklink is definitely a rare vehicle as well, because to show on the market, it's only 17 Bricklinks ever existed in the United States, and this one only had a total of 29,500 miles on it in its entire life. Now, Les was obviously interested in purchasing the vehicle, but unfortunately, a lot of work had to be done to the Bricklink, including a paint and body, set of tires, and an entirely new exhaust, which lowered the car's value drastically. The owner bought it 3 years earlier, but after being fired, claimed he couldn't hold on to it any longer. After Les did some research, he informed the customer that the $30,000 he was asking for was too much, since he found another one for a lot less. However, the owner really didn't want to sell the car that bad. He wasn't that desperate to get rid of it, and he passed on the offer of $10,000, but they came to an agreement for the Bricklink for $7,000. So in one of Hardcore Pond's earliest episodes, the owner, Les Gold, purchased a 1941 Chevrolet for $5,800, which at the time was one of the show's biggest and riskiest buys. 3 years later, in the season 6 episode, Les's children gave him a hard time because the old school vintage vehicle was just collecting dust and definitely taking up a lot of space in their storage unit. Now, it's safe to note that there was other vehicles in there, but they were particularly complaining about this one. So in order to save face, Les had to find a way to sell it, which he ultimately did. After 2 guys from Detroit's car show came to his shop to check it out, they eventually struck a deal for $14,500. giving Les a profit of $8,700. But even with that car gone, Seth and Ashley still weren't excited because that means that there was still more cars in the back and it was still no space in the storage room. Now, it is highly noted that Les Gold drives a hard bargain and he rarely makes big purchases on the show. So does his kids. But every once in a while, Les and his kids can't resist spending more on specific items that they were offered. In season 6, episode called Seth's Big Bet, a customer entered American Jewelry and Loan to sell a diamond chain that his father, one of Detroit's most notorious drug dealers nicknamed Maserati Rick, had given to him. Unwilling to follow the path of his father, Rick Jr. wanted to cash the charm and was hoping Les would give him around $7,000. While they've been scammed before, in this particular situation, Les Gold was the one looking to do the scamming. He lowballed Rick Jr. for $1,000, and Rick Jr. of course told him no. Now, after stale negotiations, a little bit of back and forth, they finally struck a deal for the chain at $2,500. And that's how we're gonna wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like if you want some more Hardcore Pond and Les Gold, and we'll see y'all in the next one.